as the shadowy claw grabs Alcinda, Eldengar, your mind is invaded by a vision that grips you. You see the shadowy claw, but it is not holding Alcinda. In its grasp is a small elderly human woman. She's wearing simple robes and has cloth wrappings on her hands, not unlike the wrappings that cover you. You try to move, but your body is too exhausted to move a muscle. Looking down, you now see the woman in your arms, your shadowy, clawed arms. She's dead, bled out from many wounds. You don't know how she died, only that it was not by your hand. You don't recognize her, but you have a feeling that there's some sort of connection between the two of you. You lose your balance and start to fall. And just as she slips from your arms, and suddenly you're back in control and aware once again.
I'll describe the vision.
So if you're giving them very specific details about everything in that vision, including her appearance, the wounds on her body, and all of that, then Angel and Zeed would recognize this description as Lady Wen.
But he wasn't there that we know of.
Yeah, that's why we're like trying to figure out the connection with that.
When we finally released Lady Win's soul, she went with Gale.
No, she went with her partner. Gale's not dead. Her partner had died before you ever met her.
Her spirit obviously went to a different plane than hell, but
Like-
you've had other visions.
Oh, you want like the ones that were in my backstory that led me here?
Yeah.
No, they were her and Zug. I got a picture, like a vision of them in like the throne room.
You have been having visions of original party members that fought Tiamat. But what if you are reincarnated? It was Darvin who carried Lady Wen away from that battle that she died.
So it would have been maybe, I don't know.
Saying Darvin.
That's
How long has it been
what?
since Darvin died?
A long time.
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
And how old is your character?
60.
Approximately
60.
20 years.
Should have been too old.
Yeah,
That's,
he would have been
just too short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like all your memories, or was there like some amnesia thing? Am I making that up?
No, I remember like being at the monastery and all that stuff, becoming.
So
a
you
monk
remember your
and
entire life.
I remember like being in the monastery and all that stuff. But the way, like the vision that originally brought me here was a vision of Angel and not Dusk. Angel
Also,
and
specifically, these are characters that interacted with Beldia in that campaign.
I got you.
So maybe that's more the common thread, or other like heroes who fought Beldia, or not fought her because we didn't fight her at the time, but like knew her at that time.
Could be. I don't know. As far as I'm aware now.
You guys are on the outskirts, in the darkness, on the outskirts of the camp of the Neverwinter army, and you can see patrols going around the camps. They've got torches around, giving off some dim light.
How are we gonna play this?
I have a wish in my pocket. If we fail to convince him, then we have wishes to fail safe. Even if they arrest us and take us to Lord Neverember, like, they have to take us to Lord Neverember.
Okay, Atrian, we're gonna take you back to your dad.
Alright, let's get this over with. Let's go.
I'll flag down the first like guard that I can see like standing like
out of the dark. Hello.
Okay, so
we'll approach like very casual. We come in peace. We bring Prince Etrian. We're trying to return him to Lord Neverember.
You hear the guard say, "Halt!" And then
I'll put a wing out and I'll stop everybody.
So they call some guys together, and a group of guards like slowly approaches you, like torches out, and they have their weapons drawn, and they
just
walk, They walk. Yeah.
So we come out of the darkness.
They
take my goggles.
Yeah, they get close to you guys and they inspect you. And they inspect Etrian and they ask him a couple questions, and then the guy who looks to be in charge, he's an older gentleman with a very like clean cut, and he's bald as well, big bushy eyebrows, and he says, "We're going to take you to the king, but first you must relinquish all your weapons."
I'm gonna pull the gag off. Be like, you wouldn't take the staff, would you?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh god, that's a horrible step for me. Fuck!
pulls out a knife. Here's a bow. Here's a rapier.
Here's another bow. They start leading you through the camp, and as you walk through, you can see there are a bunch of guards just bullshitting, and you do walk past the medical tent where there's a bunch of guys that have like giant head injuries. Some of them are dead, some of them are just unconscious. Their skulls cracked open and brains spilling out. And so as you're walking through, you do hear a little bit of conversation that some of the guards are having between each other as you're passing by. You hear some say, a group of 3 guards are having a conversation, and one of them says, "Did you see those tattoos?" And then somebody else in the group says, "She's part of the royal family, I think." And then he says, "No way. It has to be like part giant or something." And he goes, the other one says, "They said she went in alone." And then the third guy goes, "After we done all the heavy lifting, you mean? That's how it always is. We do the work, get none of the spoils." So you guys just passively hear that as you're going towards the tent.
That might be bad.
So, roughly in the center of the camp, you find 2 larger tents, and there are 2 guards stationed at the entrances, as well as flags of Neverwinter placed on the ground at either side of the entrance. So they lead you inside one of these tents, and inside is a large table covered in maps, notes, and small figurines representing allied and enemy forces. And leaning on the table is a lone figure in plate armor. Their back is to you, and off to the side is a small writing desk covered in papers. You appear to be in the war room. The figure turns around. In full plate armor, you see the visage of a much older than you remember
Is that him?
King Neverember,
It's like, is that him?
Lord Protector of Neverwinter.
Okay.
And
He just nods.
I've never seen him before. He's older than you guys described.
See how it's got all the fancy armor?
And he looks at Etrian and he says, "What are you doing here? And what are you doing with them?"
So yes.
And
I like nudge you.
I think they know what our status is.
he said, Etrian says, "I was on my way down here to help you. I might have gotten a little bit lost, but I ran into these guys and they knew how to find you, so
Captured.
What?
Definitely wasn't captured.
No. I was fine. Anyway, so I hooked up with these guys because they said they were coming here anyway. And then the king says, "Do you know what they have done? You know they killed your brother."
Yeah. Right down here.
And he immediately steps closer to his dad and turns around and looks at you guys and backs up.
We did not.
And he goes, "Sorry if I don't take your word."
Oh, I understand.
She's got it from here.
Yes.
Just nudge her forward.
I was nudging.
We just part. Let the politician forward.
As soon as you push her forward, the king pulls out his sword.
No. It wasn't like that far forward. It was like a little like a foot.
Shove her.
Yeah, he pulls out his sword and points it at you. What do you say?
She says,
Well, I know.
"Excuse me. I know you may find this incredibly hard to believe. But your wife killed your son. And a ritual instilled his soul."
Silence! I will hear no more of this.
Yes.
He looks at the guards and he says, "Prepare them for execution."
You came out the gate kind of hard there.
We discussed this with gentle.
So the guards grab you guys and they're trying to move you out of the tent.
They're trying to get away.
I'm... feel safe.
I'm just like, oh no.
I cast wish. I wish for Lord Neverember to have a vision of his son's true death.
So,
And
Hopefully that includes us showing up and trying to save him.
as you release the spell, the king falls back and catches himself on the table, and his breathing is labored as though he just ran a marathon. After a moment, he motions the guards to stop, and they're just holding you there in place. And after a moment, he gathers himself and stands tall once again. And he looks to you and he says, "Dark have been my dreams. Viserys, leave us." And the guards look very confused. And
Fail safe work!
the guards.
And Angel suddenly looks incredibly weakened. Do you want to roll the damage, or shall I?
You can go ahead and roll it.
Very afraid now.
My strength is 3.
Thank God that worked, because you would not be able to break out of the grapple anytime soon.
So as soon as the guards leave, he just waits a moment. You see him grip the sword so tightly his knuckles turn white. And he raises the blade above his head and brings it down with a brutal amount of force into the thick war table. And he does so again and again until there's a large gash in the wood. Wood chips litter the floor and cover his hands and the blade.
He's smashing it. He's fucking Kylo Ren right now?
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Shitty Sith Lord, get out.
He throws the sword on the table and he says, "I know not what she plans, only that it has been in motion for decades, and that she is close to achieving her evil ends."
So you've known she's been up to.
Well, we
Evil for a while.
assumed there was some type of charm or
He
magic
said-
going on.
he says-
from knowing.
"I have not been in my right mind for many years. We have all been pawns in her twisted game. And as we speak, she makes her way to the Mind Flayer Stronghold.
That was her about.
She must be stopped."
Mind Flayer Stronghold.
What does she want with the Mind Flayers?
I do not know. But she sent us down here to fight this war for years for this.
Probably to get you out of the way.
No, she wants something that they have.
There's something in there she wants.
Yeah, but it's also to weaken everywhere around there, because if he's not
Two
there,
birds, one stone. But this isn't just to get.
Yeah,
him
this
out of the
isn't just
way.
a frivolous
she,
thing, yeah.
She came down here to get into the stronghold. They have something or some power that she's trying to take.
Didn't she say something about accelerating plans last time we talked to her or some shit?
How long has she been down here?
Yeah.
He says, she has not been down here long. She left the camp less than an hour ago.
I guess what what I'm thinking is maybe she wants to harness their ability to absorb psionic power. That's what she uses to gain more power for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of any weaknesses that she has? How can we take her down?
He says, I don't know much of her capabilities, but of what I do know, the weaknesses, she has none. He says, Etrian cannot go. He is to stay here.
From what we gather, you might want to keep him away from her, because he's her blood, correct?
Indeed.
Then, if that's the case, this something, because when we saw her before, she said something about him being primed on his birthday, which was what, 21, 18, what was he?
21.
How old was Viserys?
Viserys was 20.
Yeah, when he turned 20, she noted something about him being primed or perfect or something at that point. And it was she had been waiting on him.
He should be safe here. I will get him somewhere safe.
Because I would definitely
Viserys also had psychic abilities, and she
Yes.
kind of like stole his power. That could
Well,
be
he
like, the
seems
whole
to have a
thing.
little bit as well because he uses the dagger.
Mhm.
He has
Oh,
something
he for sure does. But he's also young still, and he's developing his powers. So
Exactly. So if it's
20
something
might
to
be
do,
where like the psychic abilities are matured.
and she could very well easily consume him earlier and just not get as much. So that would definitely be something to keep him away from her.
By the way, could you do us a favor? Maybe like send word that this wasn't us.
It could work, but
He sits down at the writing desk and very quickly drafts a letter and puts it in an envelope, and he says, "I will give this to Etrian. He will deliver it upon my behalf, but I cannot send word yet for fear of letting her know that her hold has been broken.
I understand.
First, we stop her." He says, "I know the best way to get there." And at that point, Etrian comes back, like, armed with all your weapons and shit.
Sorry.
And so you guys take all your stuff from Etrian, and he puts the envelope in Etrian's in his shirt, and he pats it, and he gives him the instructions on what to do with it. And he says, "You ready?"
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Can't believe my spell safe worked.
So, the king leads you to a secret tunnel out of the camp, so as not to be seen. He leads you through inclined passageways and tight caverns. You're forced to squeeze through until you come to an opening. As you guys are moving through these tunnels, you feel like you're being followed. Something is listening to your thoughts.
Something is trying to perceive our minds.
From where?
Everywhere. There, it's a psychic reach.
Don't worry, I fortified my mind.
You emerge out of this tunnel on a ledge overlooking the entrance to the Mind Flayer Stronghold. Stone steps lead up to a massive doorway shaped like a Mind Flayer head. Bodies of Mind Flayers and their thralls litter the stone steps, and the doorway has been blown wide open by either a large impact or some sort of powerful magic.
I think she's been here. My perceptive eyes says she's been here.
You're like on a ledge overlooking the
Oh.
steps.
Is there a safe way to get down? Or are we just jumping?
I mean, you can climb down or you could jump.
I can fly.
How far is
It's
it?
like 30 feet.
I am fly.
Just the swan dive, be a flip, and just
Yep.
silently land.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stone steps lead you to the doorway, which then leads into an inclined walkway that spirals downward.
Did anyone follow us?
Make a perception check.
I'm worried about one soul. The fucking 12-year-old up there. What am I doing? Perception?
Yeah.
Do you mention that? Like, where I could look as well?
40.
40? So as you are walking up the steps,
I got plus 21 perception, bro. What do you want from me?
as you're walking up the steps, you hear just very faintly tiny rocks falling from the ledge that you guys came down from.
I just like slowly glance that way.
You don't see anything.
I think we have a tail. Someone that's not supposed to be here is here. He's gonna get himself fucking killed. Can you see him?
I cast the invisibility on myself.
What's the range on that?
It's just your
It
vision.
would be my vision.
Oh, it's just your vision.
It's just a vision, bro.
You see Etrian like halfway down the wall, like looking at you.
Staring. He's just looking at him.
And as you like lock eyes with him, you see him mouth.
I tell his dad.
He says, "What?"
It's like just like in a rock and just.
He walks over and like reaches around until he finds him, like yanks his ass down off the fucking rock. And he like picks him up by the shirt and he's like starts yelling at him and he's like, "Get your ass back up there!" So you see him like kind of sad, like just like getting his ass back up.
And he looks back, I'm just like behind her, I was like,
And he rolled a 30 still.
I do the eyes at him like I'm watching you.
I don't know what it was, but I had like a feeling. I was like, this stupid son
With
of a
your
bitch.
high perceptions, you guys can hear him like muttering to himself.
I just had a feeling. I was like, I bet that motherfucker followed us.
The doorway leads you to an inclined walkway spiraling downward. And as you go, the walls are covered in unnervingly alien shapes. Every so often, you come across another dead mind flayer and occasionally a thrall or two. And almost all you come across have been killed by large blades. Eventually, the walkway leads you to a large hall filled with strange sculptures of undulating tentacular forms. The architecture of the hall is vast and dark, conveying an air of ancient decadence. More dead mind flayers and thralls litter this grand hall, the thralls outnumbering the mind flayers at a rate of 2 to 1. You can see the doorway to the rear of this hall leads into a dark hallway. As you enter, you can see is only lit by a vast starscape that can be seen on the ceiling. You do find a doorway about halfway down the hall. There's a doorway to the left that leads into a small chamber. From what you can see in the hall, you can see it appears to be a small circular room lined with chains affixed to the walls. You can see there are some prisoners kept, and in the center of the room is a small pool filled with a pinkish liquid. And that's all you can see from the doorway. So, you continue on and leave them to whatever fate awaits them. The hallway opens up into a medium-sized chamber. The walls and ceiling are there's no light in here, by the way. This is pitch darkness.
I can see!
The walls and ceiling are lined with cages of various sizes, most of which are empty. The center of the room, in the center of the room is a pedestal with some sort of console.
Someone needs to be guiding the king, by the way.
The floor, yeah, he can't
He
see.
cannot. He's
The
blind.
floor surrounding the pedestal contains a ring of blue gemstone. Just past the threshold of the blue ring lies one dead mind flayer and 2 dead thralls. On the far side of the room is a stone door covered in frescoes depicting mind flayers lording over other races. The door has no handle and glows with a dull green energy. You can see some of these cages do have creatures inside of them, though.
Can you tell what they are?
You can see a giant centipede-looking creature. You recognize an Umber Hulk in one of the cages. A insane-looking stone giant that just keeps punching himself in the face.
It's a great place.
Yeah, there's a giant spider in one, a giant crab in another.
I
try
walk
and
into the
grapple
pedestal area. What happens?
Okay. So, as you step on the blue gemstone, it lights up and crackles with energy and zaps the shit out of you.
I just turn around like smoking. Shake the cross!
Okay, so the console is covered in markings that you can't understand. There are 2 moist, fleshy openings in the console, about the size of a softball. So you stick your hand in,
Yeah.
you hear the console hum to life. You gather from the markings on the console that this console is used to open the things in this room.
Hand removed. Does that include the door?
But I would assume so.
Probably.
Does the door have a handle on it?
Does not. Yeah.
Full force.
Put both hands in the console, it hums to life.
Does it say how this works?
So
Wiggle your fingers.
I don't want to wiggle. If I wiggle my pinky, I might open the wrong cage.
You're trying to open the door, I assume.
Yeah, just.
So I need you to make an intelligence check with disadvantage.
Oh no.
6. Oh.
The second one was an 18.
Oh.
That's not good.
Ow.
So you hear loud clicking sounds all across this chamber. Click, 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 click.
I keep trying to open the door. I'm like,
And-
come on!
And then, as all the cage doors open.
I tried to open the door again. Can I try to open the door again? I'm just like, the door!
Close the cell doors.
I tried to close all those and open the door.
Make another check with disadvantage.
Come on, dice. 17.
Nope, you're fucking with it. You can't get the door open, and as you're fucking with it, landing it right in front of you, one of the cages on the ceiling that you did not see contained a large creature.
Is this the one you were talking about? Is that Charizard?
Is that a Charizard? So let's go.
What the fuck is that?
That's a very big Mind Flayer looking guy.
It's a Cthulhu.
He is going to bonus action disrupt Psyche, and he's going to emit a psionic energy pulse that hits everybody within 30 feet of him, which I believe is everybody. So I need everyone to make an intelligence saving throw. King Neverwinter, Zaza, and Angel are all incapacitated. He's going to, for his final attack, is going to drink Sapience and need the king to make a wisdom saving throw. So, as it tries to drink his psychic energy, he takes 29 points of psychic damage. He also gains 1 level of exhaustion.
38.
How do you want to do this?
This bitch got like 3.
I mean, just give him the good old fashioned machine gun stab to the chest.
Just as the pinkish purple blood just pours out of it, it like brings a giant claw up to like smash Eldengar before it eventually do manage to power down the door. So the green energy fades, the door grinds its way open. It reveals a large open courtyard. You can see there's a large shallow pool that dominates the central courtyard.
Is there anything in it?
No, just a few inches deep of water. Surrounded by pillars. And you can see it's an open courtyard that you can see like just off into the blackness, like past the pillars. You'd have to step outside to see anything further. You can see that you are at the top of a huge ziggurat, and below is a sprawling Mind Flayer city. Many of the buildings near the ziggurat are burning or have collapsed. And across the courtyard, you can see, past the shallow pool, is another, much smaller pool. This circular pool is only a few inches deep and about 8 feet around in diameter. The pool also has a bright purple glow to it.
If she came here to get something, and she's destroyed the city, so she didn't want to enslave them. I mean, she's looking for something.
Okay, so as soon as you step into the pool and none of you is outside, as soon as he does that, Eldengar's just not there anymore.
Teleport.
We should follow immediately.
Teleport.
Alright, the rest of us will rush into the pool.
So the rest of you, one after another, you appear in a similar glowing pool. You are in a small room, not much bigger than a closet. And ahead of you is an open doorway.
Excuse me.
Past the doorway, you can see a huge spiral staircase winding and descending. You go down the staircase. As it winds and descends deeper and deeper into the stronghold, you pass dozens of dead Mind Flayers and thralls.
To kick him out of the way.
You continue down the blood and viscera-soaked stairway before you finally come to a small foyer. This tiny room is lined with high-quality busts of Mind Flayers, many of which have been damaged or destroyed entirely.
Figures.
Looking ahead, you can see the remnants of what used to be a stone door that has since been destroyed. Chunks of broken stone block your path. So Eldengar, you can hear a faint voice muttering something that you can't understand. Like, it's unintelligible because of the distance.
Does the voice sound familiar?
You can't tell. But you can just very faintly hear from the chamber beyond, someone is muttering something.
Astral self! I was fucking JoJo the wall.
As you manage to break your way through, your astral self goes down. With the way now clear, you can see a massive chamber ahead. Large statues of various tentacle-covered creatures act as pillars in this grand hall. Moving forward, you can see the floor consists of lines of different colored gemstones: blue, red, pink, and green. You move in 50 feet, 60 feet, 100 feet.
Is there anybody in here? Or does it just keep going?
It just keeps going. 150 feet. Once you get to 240 feet in, you can see, actually, your vision is what? 120, so actually, never mind. So then you would see, once you get 180 feet in, you and anybody else with 120 feet of dark vision, the rear of the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
There looks to be a raised up dais of some kind, the edges of which are covered in tentacular designs like those you've seen before. Standing at the edge of the dais, looking down towards it, is a large, blood-soaked figure in glistening armor.
I wonder who that could be.
Large white braids of hair flow down the back. And at this moment, about 15 feet to the right of the figure, a purple energy vortex appears, and a large gray and blue creature emerges, who you recognize as Aton, the Sapphire Dragon.
Should we just attack her?
I'm fucked up.
Yeah, not with my current witch situation.
Yeah, we're not in any shape to fight her.
So what are we gonna do now that we're here?
We could fucking try. Or see what they're gonna do.
Aton appears, and as you're walking forward, before you actually get to see it, you can hear Aton in your minds. Everyone except for Eldengar can hear this.
I'm just walking.
The voice of Aton as the figure of Veldia turns to face him. Veldia, this is far enough. You were a benevolent ruler once. You saved my life more than once. It is not too late to abandon this plan. Come with me and leave this path behind. With your help, we can set things right again. Aton is cut off, and you realize Veldia is no longer by the dais, but standing below Aton's head, her greatsword protruding from his neck. You were watching her the whole time. She seemed to appear there almost instantaneously. Aton's dark blood pours from the wound before he slumps to the ground alive, but breathing raggedly. I truly wish it didn't have to be this way, old friend. She raises a hand that glows with purple energy, and you hear a loud splashing of water behind her, and you realize the dais was no dais, but a raised pool. And out of this pool emerges a large mass of flesh, dripping with a viscous pink fluid. As the writhing mass floats towards Aton, you can see the mass is in fact a huge brain covered in red tentacles. The tentacles begin to latch onto the Sapphire Dragon, burrowing beneath its flesh. The skin along the dragon's back is flayed open as dozens more tentacles worm their vile way into the body, as a massive brain slides its way onto the open wound and fuses itself to the spine. The figure of Aton, what was once Aton, gets up and looks at you as this brain has attached itself to his body. And Veldia looks at you all and says, I told you not to meddle in my affairs. I was merciful then and allowed you to leave. Even now, I'm still choosing to be merciful. You hear a loud click, followed by a surging of energy as the colored gemstone tiles light up briefly and then go dull once more. And that's where we're going to pick up next time.